Cheers.
All right, say something.
I'm a good sport.
You are. You ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rebecca. This is my husband Justin. He also eats books sometimes.
Sometimes.
And I bribed him with a gin and tonic to do this video with us.
Hey, buddy.
Do you read books?
I do read books, yes. I enjoy reading books.
How many books would you say you read a year?
About a book a week, let's say. Plus articles and other stuff.
How many books a year do you think you read for fun?
I would say probably, let's say half that. So 25, let's say.
Okay.
I'm also a rereader, though.
That's true. You're a serious rereader.
Yeah.
Are you the type of person who tries to keep a book in pristine condition?
Oh, no.
No, you're a
No,
book destroyer.
I destroy books. I write all over books.
Yeah. I
And
bet if I picked up a random book.
That's the copy of the Federalist Papers that I've had since I was... Careful! That I've had since I was a freshman in college.
That reminds me, where are we sitting right now?
We're in my home office, which is also in the attic, which I share with squirrels.
What?
Please fuck this up. I hope not. That's valuable to me. Okay.
What is your organizational system here? How many books do you think are in this room? 1,000?
No. A couple hundred maybe. Maybe 200.
Is there an organizational system?
I would say everything from like here forward is stuff that I either used for the semester or used for my own research. All of that, including book 6 of Knausgaard, which includes a 450-page digression on...
Check that out, Kieran. Look at that struggle right there, Kieran. That's the stack.
That's kind of just randoms. Over here is stuff that I have used for past projects, but that I don't really use all that much. That's stuff that I'm reading right now.
If you needed to find a book, would you be able to find it?
Yeah. I mean, that's just because I know where I've put everything. It's not because there's like some kind of like clear organizational scheme. Because of COVID, I had to move. I worked from home, and so I transferred a bunch of things from my office to here.
And now we have a fire hazard in our attic.
Correct, yeah.
Great. What genres do you like?
But I read fantasy, not sci-fi, mostly like Tolkien, George R.R. Martin type fantasy. Also like crime pulp, Don Winslow and the Border trilogy, and a genre of fiction called surf noir. That's about like crime and surfing, like Chem Nunn.
So this is a big difference between us. You're a big multiple things at a time.
Yeah, I read multiple books at once.
Yeah, and like if you're reading a book and it references something, you'll pick up that book or
Correct.
pick up a book about that person. And I'm like a one book at a time person.
Yeah, but especially in a case like the Kierkegaard biography, Kierkegaard has the whole thing about like Abraham and Isaac and
Then you read the Bible.
I read Kierkegaard's interpretation of what was going on and like what he had to say about Abraham and Isaac.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a professor of government at Wesleyan University.
What would you say to somebody who is thinking about going into academia or getting a PhD or is getting a PhD?
Well, don't have any preferences about where you want to live. I mean, it's probably harder for you than it is for me because you have had to go where I have been able to get work.
I don't have to.
Well, right. Because you wanted to keep our relationship intact, you were willing to go where there was work for me.
Because it's easier. I have an easier time getting hired than you do.
Correct, yeah. You can do many more things than I can do. I can do one thing, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us your career trajectory?
I attended Brandeis University, so I was a politics and history major. I went and worked in the United States Senate.
He was living in DC at the time, obviously.
I was living in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill.
I was in like 6th grade.
Thank you.
So I also grew up in DC, so we were there at the same time, although we probably didn't hang out at the same bars.
No. I had kept in touch with my undergraduate thesis advisor who recommended that I apply to graduate schools, political science doctorate programs.
Yeah, so you got your PhD.
I did. I did not get a tenure track job out of graduate school. I had a 1-year position at Wesleyan, and you stayed in DC, and I commuted to DC every weekend.
Not every weekend.
Most weekends. I got a tenure track job at San Francisco State University. We were in San Francisco.
And then we moved back here.
And then I got a tenure track job at Wesleyan.
And then we moved here.
Correct. And then I moved back to New Haven.
Yeah. Okay, great job.
Thank
How did we meet?
Okay, so you were an undergraduate in the discussion section that I led for a course on public opinion. You were a great student in a very difficult discussion section.
So the discussion section that I was in was on Thursday night. And I don't know about where you went to college, but Thursday night was the biggest drinking night of the week where I went to undergrad. Every single person in this class, we showed up in our going out tops. Nobody brought a pencil or a notebook or anything. And we were all just like looking at our watches.
Nightmare. No offense, but it was also a lot of athletes. And so you had the combination
No offense to all you booktubers out there who also were D1 athletes at giant state schools.
Yeah, so I let people out early every week because nobody would talk and nobody cared.
Nobody?
I mean, you didn't talk either. I had to call on you. Yes, you were the best student in the section.
In the college.
Okay.
I had a big crush on him from like day one, and I told all my friends. I was like, I have a cute TA. I set my sights on him. And did you think, oh, this girl's flirting with me, she wants me? Or were you like, God, I'm an amazing TA.
I think that's
what
it was. I think that's probably I would have thought that it was about me being good at it. I don't remember exactly how we went to dinner.
You don't remember our love story? No. So then you went to math camp. Then you came back from math camp, and I was at the box, and you pulled me over to your friends, and you were like, oh my God, she is so smart, and she's the smartest student I've ever taught. And then I was working at the library. I was working at the university library that summer. And then we went to Guadalajara and had margaritas. Yeah. That was our first date. I finished Infinite Jest 5 minutes before that date started.
Did I not want to talk about Infinite Jest? I mean, I'd read Infinite Jest.
Yeah, you had read it, and we talked about it. I thought the date went really well, although you had your cell phone out and open on the table. It was a flip phone, which I thought was really rude. But remember, the screen was broken on the front, so it had to be open in order to work. Ladies, here's a tip: if your man's in grad school and his flip phone doesn't work, you run the other way. I thought the date went really well. I went back and I was like, he likes me. He never called me back.
That's right.
I saw him at a bar with that girl, and I was like, oh, he has a fucking girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit. I will never talk to this man again.
So we didn't talk again until probably, it must have been like a whole year later, and then I saw you again at a coffee shop.
I was studying, and then I was there every day, and you were there every day, and you would try to talk to me multiple times.
You were cold.
I was colder than I would have been. I mean, I still thought you were cute.
Okay.
And then like on the 3rd or 4th time I was there, you were like, I have this book that's...
okay. And I wrote an apology note into the book.
And then when I finished my exams, I opened the book.
And then we must have gone out again.
Are you telling me you don't remember you had me over for dinner?
That's right. I think I made vegetarian chili and salad.
He said, I know how to get to your vegetarian heart.
Right. And then
it was actually pretty good veggie chill. And then that night I said, don't ever call me again.
You did say that. Yeah, and then you returned for the fall
August.
Semester and moved into my apartment like a couple weeks later.
And the rest is history. Literally none of that is going on the camera.
Great. I don't care. I'm glad we have a record of it now, though.
Kind of sweet.
Okay.
I'm going to use this when you're dead.
I'm never going to die.
Who are some of your favorite political scientist writers? Or some of your favorite political scientist books?
Political science generally is rather boring. So books that have mattered to me in history and political science. Anything by the historian Christopher Lasch. The True and Only Heaven, mid to late 19th century America. So he wrote a book about political reform in that period.
If somebody was like, I want to learn about American politics right now, who would you recommend they read?
I would probably have people read Ira Katznelson, who's a political scientist and historian at Columbia University, who's written about race and politics in the United States.
What about books, not academic writing, but mainstream writing that has political themes in disguise as being a political book? I have an answer for this.
What's your answer?
Nicotine by Nell Zink. I mean, anything by Nell Zink I think is pretty political, but also I was going to say anything by Rebecca Solnit.
Yeah, but that's explicitly political.
Yeah, that's not in disguise. It's not an academic.
That's hard. I mean, politics
is everywhere.
Right.
Every writer has a political opinion or political stance.
Probably. I mean, like, is Marilyn Robinson political?
Yes.
Sure. They involve history. They involve...
I think they have a political point of view, for sure.
Sure. Great.
An egalitarian point of view.
Sure, yeah. Colson Whitehead. Political.
That's very political. Colson Whitehead, that's true. Even Vandermeer.
Certainly. Political, yes.
Oh, and your love child. Go ahead, say it.
What? George Martin? Yeah, not about like contemporary American politics, but that's about themes of politics that involve power, forms of leadership, the legitimacy of the state.
All right, so what's your favorite book of all time?
The most meaningful reading experiences I've had have certainly been a song. I read A Song of Ice and Fire.
This is Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is the first book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. I read those and listen to the audio version of those at least once a year.
That is so embarrassing. Don't tell people that. Just say you like the book. Don't tell people how often you read it.
They're about a time and place that's distant enough from where we are that it seems completely foreign, but that involves themes and ideas that are highly relevant.
I was going to ask you one book you could reread over and over.
I mean, I reread lots of books over and over.
But your answer is Game of Thrones.
That I reread. I mean, I think rereading is more important than reading the first time. You don't ever really learn the thing the first time.
I don't reread.
That's a big mistake.
There's so much good stuff to read.
Yeah, I don't deny that there's a cost to rereading. When are we going to talk about Knausgaard? When's that happening?
Go for it. Sell us on Karl of Knausgaard.
I shouldn't have to sell it. It's a global, worldwide phenomenon. It sells itself.
What would you tell me to try to persuade me to read My Struggle?
Who is the person who used the phrase art monster?
Jenny Awful.
Yeah. That's Karl Knausgaard.
He is an art monster.
Yeah. Somebody who is committed completely to the production of art.
So you do know that the invention of the phrase is to say, like, women can't ever be art monsters. It's impossible for a woman to be an art monster for that exact reason. Like, because women give themselves to other people and men are the only people who can commit fully to...
Fine, but I think if you want to read about the price you pay for being that type of a person, it's in Knausgaard, which is that you're a complete asshole to everybody around you. You simultaneously want to be loved.
How is this selling me on Knausgaard?
Because it's about the self-conscious effort to write something that gets beyond the rational and is able to touch and reach people in parts of their brain and soul and heart that are beyond the purely rational and conscious.
Do you ever read Women?
Marilyn Robinson?
There's one. That is a woman.
I've read N.K. Jemisin, the Broken Earth trilogy.
Octavia Butler.
I've read Octavia Butler.
Who's your favorite book character, fictional book character?
One of them is, I really loved when I was like 14 years old, this book called Rule of the Bone by Russell Banks. And there's a character named Chappie in the Game of Thrones. My favorite character is probably Arya Stark.
What are your thoughts on the institution of marriage? Were you always sold on getting married? Which one of us was more into getting married?
Probably me.
Definitely you. 100% you.
I think I appreciate the formal commitment, the demonstration of a commitment.
What's it like being married to me?
Overall, good.
What's the perfect sandwich?
Ooh.
You have sandwich passion.
I did. All right.
Okay, to preface this, Justin eats meat.
I do eat meat, yes. My favorite sandwich is definitely a pastrami Reuben on well-toasted rye bread with good amount of grainy mustard, thin layer of sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and very spicy pastrami.
You're like 40 times more animated talking about pastrami than you were about talking about our love story.
I love pastrami Reubens. The platonic ideal of sandwich is the pastrami Reuben. Yes.
What is the one book that everyone should read?
Like that everybody will like, or that I think that all people should read in order to like be better people?
Not everybody will learn from a book they can't access. So it doesn't have to be a book that everybody will like, but a book that everybody will like enough to listen to. Because if you recommend a book that people will immediately hate, if you recommend Dune,
great book.
A lot of people are going to immediately be like, I don't read genre fiction. I'm not going to like this. I won't take anything away from this.
Yeah. I have an issue with the idea of genre fiction. Saying Dune is genre fiction diminishes what Dune is. A Song of Ice and Fire is genre fiction, therefore we can just not pay attention to it, or it doesn't count as literature.
I'm not saying it doesn't count as literature, I'm just saying that it won't be everybody's cup of tea.
There's nothing that is everybody's cup of tea. The stuff that you read is not my cup of tea.
Okay, so what's one book that everyone should read?
What is one book that everyone should read?
Sophie's Choice.
Ooh, Styron. William Styron. If I was going to pick a Styron, it would probably be Confessions of Nat Turner, not Sophie's Choice. Confessions of Nat Turner is a great book.
1984.
Probably everybody should read 1984. Oh, like, I really liked Dennis Johnson's the short story collection,
Jesus'
Son. Yeah, I think that is... I mean, that's definitely not everybody's cup of tea. The main character's name is Fuckhead, and he's a drug addict, so I don't think that, like, that is going to be everybody's cup of tea.
What do you think about me being on Booktube? What do you think about my new hobby?
I'm happy that you have an outlet for your creativity. You seem to be very into it, and it seems like it's bringing you a lot of happiness, so I'm happy that you're doing it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your hobbies?
I like to mulch. I skateboard badly.
Do you like to hike, or do you just do that for me?
I enjoy hiking and camping. I care a lot about teaching.
Yeah, that's literally the opposite of a hobby.
Vocation.
That's your job.
That's my vocation.
What do you like about teaching?
And try to use as a way of motivating them to think more about what it is that they've read. So that, again, I am mixing my interpretation of... Are you asleep? Fuck off.
This is a Booktube channel.
Oh.
Can you tell us about your book?
It's called Congress and the First Civil Rights Era, 1861 to 1918.
It's a page turner. It's a thriller.
It is a book of political history.
Okay, give us a elevator pitch, like 1 or 2 sentences. What's it about?
It is about the ways in... It is about, I guess, 2 things in particular.
You've already... That's it. That's your 2 sentences.
One thing is about how the Republican Party aided in facilitating the collapse of post-Civil War Reconstruction in the United States. And the second thing is the way in which the fact that Black people in the United States lived in the South but relied on Northern representation for the promotion and enactment of civil rights initiatives sabotaged Black political agency in the United States.
What's up with the mustache?
What's up with the mustache? Well, the mustache was not my idea. The mustache was your idea. So the mustache is yours, not mine.
It's my mustache on your face. You know how people on YouTube close out these things? They're like, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. I hope that you continue to view Rebecca's videos. She appreciates all of your comments and enthusiasm. Aww, that I know.
That's very sweet.
Love you, nerds.
Love you, nerd.